For the Dolphins, the task is clear. Win the next 2, and they are in. It gets murkier if they lose one of the next 2, and it hinges on what happens with the other teams. That defensive style that they've developed, you were mentioning it earlier, having so many guys at the line of scrimmage. It reminds me of the old Steelers zone blitz scheme where you would have some guys go, some guys drop into coverage, but at least then it's a conventional formation. You've got linebackers lined up like linebackers, off the ball, and sometimes that guy shoots the gap and the guy drops back. But, when you see it work well, like the Dolphins are doing with 7 or 8 guys just lined up in a row at the line of scrimmage, I look at it and I say, why doesn't everybody do this? Because it does create chaos. No doubt. Because you don't know who's going and you don't know who's dropping into coverage. Now, you got to have some big guys who are capable of dropping into coverage, and maybe that's one of the reasons why more teams don't do it. But when you see something like this work this well, it really is stunning that it isn't a more common approach for NFL defenses.
Well, this is their thing, and they're one of the teams that I think has started this trend a little bit in the NFL this year, where we're seeing teams dabble in this more and more in passing situations, because the Dolphins, they made their run last year because of this defense. Remember that last year where the Rams and McVay and Goff, and we saw teams go into Miami like, what the hell is going on? These quarterbacks and offensive coordinators are totally flummoxed by this attack, a little bit like we saw again with Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. First off, Mike, you're right. That's the thing to talk about. And they got studs, I think, in some certain positions. It's a really well-built defense. They got 2 shutdown island corners, so that allows them to, if they do blitz, go, hey, you guys got it, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, we trust you against anybody. They got 2 really good safeties in Holland and Rowe. Rowe used to be a corner. Holland's a star already as a rookie. And then, Mike, you talk about, they got versatility like a New England on the inside with a lot of different linebackers. You can play D-end or linebacker. You got 2 big tush hogs in the middle, and Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkins, where they can take up 4 gaps, even though they're only 2 people, because they'll 2 gap and be big. And now you add a Jalen Phillips, who's looking like he's going to be a superstar pass rusher. So they have the talent, Mike, is what I'm going to say. And then the other thing off of that, Mike, which makes it hard and why everybody doesn't do it, is with all that creativity, and this is where Flores and defensive coordinator Josh Boyer are special and making their money, is they can do it and also be sound within doing it, right? There's no glaring gap to go, oh, wait, this was some crazy blitz, but oh gosh, if they run the ball over here, we're going to be totally ruined. They can do all this crazy stuff and still go, oh no, if they run the ball over there, it might not be the best, but we got guys in the right spots that we're still sound as a defense. And that's where they're special on that side of the ball, Mike. That's where Flores is earning his money as, a defensive head coach and his experience with Belichick and all of that.
Talk as long as you want. You're not going to throw me off of the tush hog comment. You said tush hog. I don't know what to even label that as. It's not a Simmsism.
Big butt defensive tackle.
And Pete asked me if I was Googling it. I'm afraid of what results tush hog is going to return, so I'm not even going to look to see whether it's accidentally a real word.
It's
just wanted to make sure that
everyone
out there.
It's a football word.
That's a new one for me. There's some football words I know about after doing this for 20 years. Tush hog is not one of those, but maybe we can make it one. And I had to say something about it, because if I don't, the email box will be full of messages. How did you let him say that and not chime in? So I had to chime in.
Let me explain. Well, guys like Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis, right? Let's look at their
I understand. They're big. They're big. They got large rear ends.
They do.
Tush hog is not a way that I would think that you would. There are other words that would be more conventional.
Yeah,
that's
I know. I wanted to say big and a swear word after it. They got some big dudes in there. That's what I wanted to say, But yes, they're special players on the inside, and that allows them to be creative with some of that stuff too. Wilkins and Raekwon Davis are 2 of the better defensive tackles in football already, and then you match that with the scheme and some of those other guys, Mike. That's where they're a handful on that side of the ball.
Pete Demolitis has mentioned to me a couple of times whether or not the quality of opponent should be factored into where the Dolphins currently are. My reaction to that is it doesn't matter, because they're playing the Titans this weekend. We're going to find out. They're going to have to punch their ticket through a great team. or two great teams. And they have gotten lucky. They've drawn some good cards with Joe Flacco.
No doubt.
And Mike Glennon and Ian Book. But they still keep winning. And they keep winning. And it's the NFL. And if you can go out there and you can piece 7 in a row together, you don't make the schedule, but you are facing NFL teams every week.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.